Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the I Already Knew podcast. I am your co-host Jay, joining your main man Sam. We thank you so much for joining in last week. The feedback was great. I just want to start off with saying, if you haven't already, subscribe to this video, drop a like, drop us a comment in the chat below. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to get this community going. Now, without any further ado, Sam, how are you this morning, my man?
That was a killer intro, by the way.
We're here to ice it, baby. We're here to ice it.
I'm good. I think that sometimes, we've all got those stuff we're battling with, but you get better at dealing with it. So that's the thing that I've found, is that it never kind of goes away. But yeah, I've gotten better at dealing with stuff and the way I feel and treating that and being open about it. So thank you guys for this platform, because this is kind of cool. We got the best feedback from it, and it's, if anything, just nice for me and Jaden, we were saying, just to chop it up and just talk. So yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it, and it's really cool just to kind of talk back on things and then talk with you guys when we post the clips. And yeah, it adds more conversation on top of what we've already been talking about, and then you guys give us new ideas on things. So it's been sick, and it's only one episode in, but yeah, it's been really cool so far. So thank you guys. Adversity, we wanted to talk about. It's sometimes the best thing for people, and straight away I thought Kanye West, and I know a lot of people have their opinions on Kanye, and as soon as I say that, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh,
Triggered.
This guy, yeah.
Triggered.
And I think this is a whole nother conversation, but the media portrays Kanye in a certain way. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm not going to get into that, but what I am going to get into is he had so many family problems growing up. He was constantly told that his songs and his taste wasn't enough, and he still was pretty much just like, fuck you.
Yeah, he was trying to change it. Hey, he did change it. That 808 Heartbreaks, man, he changed it.
One of the most successful modern day artists that we know, and to think that not only by people that aren't in on the music industry, people that were in the music industry at the time, were successful, were doing really well, those kind of people that you would say, look, they know what they're talking about, were saying, nah, this guy's shit. He's not gonna make it. He's just a producer. For you guys that don't know, he was also a producer before he released those records, and he made a lot of the records. He was struggling to kind of get some headway with his songs that he was singing on, and he just kept going, fuck you, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make it. Facts. He kept putting shit out there, and now, like we said, he's one of the most successful guys out there, which is wild, hey?
Crazy successful.
Yeah, so he's killed it. I really wanted to add him in there, where you guys can hopefully see that or take that and be like, yeah, well, he was getting told by industry professionals, not even people that are just like, I guess you would see online, that are considered haters, if that's what you want to call them. They don't really know what they're talking about. These guys actually knew what they were talking about, and they were saying no, and he proved them wrong. So if he can prove them wrong, the way I see that, in that perspective, is you can kind of prove anyone wrong.
I think I'd like to draw back off that too, and just say, like, as much as there was the people telling him he can't do it, he had his own stuff going in his head. It's pretty known now that he has bipolar and other mental health issues. But prior to all this coming out in more recent times, like before that, when he was younger, when he was our age, younger than us, 100% he was battling his own mind every day, just struggling with that mental health thing. And so that adversity with, like you mentioned, at home, that adversity would have had in his head, just every day getting at it, you know what I mean, and just going for it, really.
And maybe that was something that, I'm sure he said this in interviews, you could find it anywhere, that was where he found solace, you know, where he got that relief, and he felt like he couldn't get any leeway anywhere else, but at least he could go in the studio and turn some music up loud. Finding that thing. Once he's got it, he was moving with it, he was on, no one could tell him, like literally everyone told him, nah, you're no good, this is not going to happen, and he kept coming back and he kept turning up, and here he is now. One of the completely different conversation, where some people would be like, he's crazy. Maybe, he's having his troubles, but I think if anything, you got to respect him for the work and the hustle that he's put in, and the amount of times he's showed up.
Definitely, just respect for that, facing the adversity.
Yeah, you wanted to, when we were talking about this before, we kind of go over what topics we're going to go through and how we're going to attack it. You brought up Logic, which I didn't really think about, but it's the same thing, eh? Yeah,
definitely. Like, just, I guess he was a little, I don't know too much deep about Kanye's like true upbringing, but Logic himself, obviously, parents really deep addicts, living out of what would be Homes West for us, Section 8 housing over there, just lots of drug dealing, lots of violence, lots of crazy stuff going on for him. not just coming from poverty, really, not having a whole lot, and all the stress of drama that comes with all the, you know, living with his parents being addicts and stuff like that. Kind of had to work the 2 jobs and then come home to about 8 or 9 hours sleep and spend like 4 hours of that still grinding on what he wanted to do the most, which, like yourself, was that music. And ended up like going through lots of like different housing, trying to get out of the trouble he was in, living with one of his good mates. He was living there for a while, just kind of living there for free. Big Lenbo, his name was. And it got to this point where Lenny was kind of like, look, man, like, I can't just keep giving you this free ride, but I believe in what you're doing, because obviously Logic was just putting in the work. And things were kind of tractioning. And Lenny goes, look, man, I'm going to give you a year. And Logic's like, sorry, let me pull back. Logic said, give me a year. Give me 1 year and I'll make it. I swear I'll do it. And so he just put the belief and then put the pedal to the metal and just kept writing, kept making music, just every day working on it. Off that back foot of, like I mentioned, working 2 jobs and then coming home to that 9 hours sleep and spending half that time just recording and making music. So he wasn't just having all the free time in the world. He was grinding like outside to make life keep going and then putting the work in just where he was meant to sleep. And a year to the day, signed with Def Jam and just moved all his friends and all like his producers, Six, everyone all out there.
Was it close to the year? Do you know?
It was like a year to the day. He put it in one of his songs, Last Call, I think it is, which is on the end of the Young Snatcher 4 album. Yeah, dude, it's sick. And it's just inspiring. Like for myself, listening to him from way back in the day and him making it, kind of knowing about it because he was pretty open about it. And then when he made that, I was like, yo, like that's just even bigger to the whole thing of just go for it.
That
you know
shit
what I mean?
fires me up, hey. It's like he can be homeless pretty much, and he's making it. He's popping off.
Yep.
I don't know. That's adversity. It pushes you to places that you wouldn't normally get pushed, you know? And that's something you got to hold on to if you're going through it. If you're out there, you're going through it. Adversity, yeah, it's fucking tough, but it also pushes you to places where you can build yourself up higher than you thought you could ever go. So keep pushing.
Diamonds are made under pressure.
Yeah,
definitely.
Come on.
And obviously some people can't like handle that pressure and they're stressed and they crumble, but like as long as you pick yourself back up, it's never meant to be easy. And like those who look like they have it easy, like that, there's a good chance there's a backstory behind that, and that's probably why they're making it look easy, because they've just adapted to that pressure. The human body does nothing better than adapt, so understand you can adapt to that pressure as hard as you think it is.
Flip that perspective. Bryson Tiller, multi-platinum artist. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a massive R&B hip-hop guy. He was working, he's got a song called Overtime. He was working 12 hours a day trying to feed his missus and his kid and making songs at the same time, and then went multi-platinum within this year of doing these songs, working on the album Trap Soul, it's called. Working on that album, came out, like I said, multi-platinum, changed his life whilst he's working 12 hours a day. Who knows how much he's sleeping when you're going through a schedule like that. It's like, how do you keep up with that? And like you said, the body just does it. If the mind's ready to go and you can flip that adversity and push through, it's going to push you to places that you didn't know you could go, and you're going to end up in places that you didn't know you could end up.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that they all have in common is, like we mentioned last week, that what is it, like that they've found what it is. So by all means, if you think you know what you're chasing and what it is, like jump into that.
Give it your all, send it.
And I think like we can probably roll on to the next idea of like staying in your hometown isn't necessarily a bad thing. For myself, I'll just give you guys a bit of an inception. To me, like I used to work on a farm and I loved this. I did love this job. I had my dog out there. I was supervising and operating out there, and it was great. And I truly could have built a life, a foundation of everything that would have been great for me. But inside I knew there was more I wanted to do, and I'd kind of have used up all my resources in this hometown. I was going to be happy there, but I knew I could have gone somewhere else and reached more. So I took the opportunity to leave my hometown, and I went to Perth, and that's when, like I mentioned last week, just trying so many different things until I found where I am now. So I want to just use that little inception to kind of pull back to the fact, like, don't be scared to leave your hometown to help try and find that new thing.
Yeah, and I guess
I'm sure you can relate.
Another form of adversity, really. If you can flip that perspective on it, and you can say, look, maybe it's scary, maybe it's out of the status quo, or what you would call it, out of your comfort zone again. It's something that can form greatness. It's something that can be better than you thought it could be.
As scary as it is.
That is crazy to think about. What if it could turn out better than you expected, rather than most of the time you're thinking, fuck, what is the worst possible outcome here? What if you're like, nah, what is the best thing that could happen instead of the worst thing?
Yeah, finding that perspective and like I mentioned, leading into that fear. I think people underestimate like the power to become comfortable. One has to get uncomfortable. You know what I mean? There's a beautiful balance in that, and you obviously, I lost where I was going with that one.
That's all good. The intention was there.
Yeah, intention was there.
I wanted to keep going on the perspective side of things, and just that same thing. That's why I brought up that what if it could turn out better than you thought. If you've got that perspective there from the get-go, that's pretty much manifestation in a nutshell, really, because that's what attracts that energy. And I really feel like the energy that you put out is the energy you're going to bring back in. So if you're sitting there thinking, fuck, this is going to turn out horribly, how much is this going to bring me back? You're going to attract that energy, and you're most likely going to end up in a position there, or putting yourself in that position. But if you think, no, I'm just going to give this my all, leave nothing out on the table, who knows where you could end up, and it maybe could even be better than you even had the capacity to imagine.
I think that's that law of attraction, really.
Yeah.
Like, if you say it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If you say this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Whether it's positive or negative, it's up to you to put that power into the universe. And I think people get a bit skeptical and don't believe that. But I think for me, like for my friends, there's another power thing. Your manifestation doesn't have to just be for you. It can be for your friends too. Like if you just keep pushing that out there, it just starts happening. It really does. And my own stories, it's just what's kept happening for me. So I'll continue to do that because it's worked so far. I just push it towards people to do it as well. You know, even, like I mentioned, pushing your mates up, like believing in your mates is a big thing because, like, we're all in this together, really. That law of attraction's real. And
as selfless as it is, you're putting your energy to other people, you're manifesting for other people, that comes back to you as well, because then you've got that circle that's building up.
Yep.
The people that you spend time around is a big thing. So rather than just thinking, right, I'm going to manifest this great goal, how can you actually do some actionable stuff right now that's going to push you towards that goal, instead of just thinking about it? What can you physically go out and do? And I think a big part of that is who do you surround yourself with and choose to surround yourself with.
Yep.
And you know, in jobs or whatever jobs you end up, you don't really get to choose. But I think if you bring that a step back, well, don't go into that job if it's putting you in a position where you can't choose who you're with. So go into something else because that's such a big part of your influence. And if you choose your circle, you can choose how you're going to turn out. You know, your 5 closest people, how you're going to turn out. So choose wisely.
I think also to that though, like you don't know what's on the other side of that job before you take it, sort of thing. So if you take that job, you're going to have those 5 to 10 workers that are either going to be the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world. It's a roll of the dice. But you are taking that risk. You are getting uncomfortable to possibly get really comfortable and meet some great people that could branch chain this network of amazing possibilities outside of that. Whether that happens or not, by all means, you go into the next job, and it could take 3-4 jobs to find that group, to meet 1 or 2 on the road. And also to that, same thing with your hobbies. You know, you go into a gym environment, whether it's like an F45 thing, whether it's just into like a Revo gym, you start meeting new people on all these new places you go and reach out to, whether it's that hometown, leaving that hometown, trying these new gyms, these new jobs. You do meet people along the way, and those people definitely create that branch chain of like the next possibility and opportunities that can come from them.
I think as long as you're aware of it and you're conscious of it, that's where it comes into play. Like you said, it is a roll of the dice. But at least you're conscious about it and you're thinking, what influence are these people having on me and where I'm trying to get? Because if you just throw yourself into a job and you don't even think about the people around you and what kind of influence they're having, then you've kind of lost already, because you haven't even thought about how that might relate to what's going to turn out and what's going to happen. So like you said, take those 1 or 2 people with you, because you know that that's the influence you want them to have on you, and then you move on to the next one. Or maybe it is the right thing, as long as you're thinking about it, and that's manifestation, I guess, in a nutshell, because you're at least considering where you want to be rather than just mindlessly not having a goal. You know, you got to shoot for something.
Definitely agree on that.
Yeah. Yo, what do you guys want to hear? This is the last podcast before we get our first guest on. We're pumped to get a guest on. We don't have that much space in the studio. The camera goes to here and out to there, but we're going to suss it out. We're going to work it out. We're going to get some guests on. We've got a couple in mind, but please, by all means, give us an idea of who you guys want on. It's not just musicians or just in that kind of sense. It's more a mindset, which we want to talk more about, and we have been talking about.
Definitely.
But yeah, we just want to kind of follow that mindset and build that community around that to hopefully help you guys. And we also already had a few messages, which is kind of cool, of people that have been like...
Yeah, and from across Australia, bro. I had my mate Tasman over in... I don't want to butcher where he's from, but somewhere that the Gold Coast, maybe somewhere that side of Australia, while we're over here in Perth.
Far from here, basically.
Yeah, man. Him and his brother do all the filming for Nitro Circus and Ryan Williams, and
No
they reached out.
shit.
Yeah, bro. So like,
Really?
the community is small, so it's real sick. But it's great to hear feedback from the whole of Australia, and if you're across seas, even better. But again, like, yeah, like Sam said, hearing the feedback from you guys would be real awesome. So please do drop in the comments and like talk to us. We'll get back to you or just drop us a DM. We'd love to hear what you guys would like to hear, whether it's more about us, whether it is, if you would love to hear about the Sam's music, because honestly, it's fire. Or more things about the gym, anything. Like, we're here to build a community, we're here to build a safe space. We want to hear from you, we want to just relate and get involved with you guys. So yeah, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a few shameless plugs on the music when it comes out.
Yeah,
we're going to be doing a few shameless plugs on the fitness stuff on Jay's side when it comes out. He's not competing in the near future, are you? No.
Look, I could pull in for a season A. Like, I'm at a lean enough position, but I just wouldn't mind putting a bit more on, just so I can walk in and feel a bit better, sort of thing, and walk out with a lot more success. Obviously, like most things, like if you're really here for it, generally the longer you put in, the better it's gonna be, right? So from a muscle building aspect, the more muscle you put on, so the longer time you take in that process, probably the better the outcome's going to be on that competition
Harder
day.
to do when you're in a calorie deficit as well, right? Yeah. He's like, don't get me started on that shit. He's like, I got to start a whole new podcast for that.
Just one sitting there complaining, there's all this brain fog. But yeah, I think season B next year, so a year from now, and I'll have something very special to share. I have kind of plugged it already, but definitely something special to share for that one when the time comes.
Yes, well, you guys will know about that when it happens. I've got a pretty sick song coming out in about 18 hours, around about. I haven't even told you about this one, but yeah, it's a rap track. It holds up with Kanye West, so I'm calling out Kanye West right now. Better song than you've made. Let's go.
I love that. Let's go.
Yeah, it's dope, and I'm keen to get it out. We'll talk a little bit more about it maybe later, just behind the lyrics, behind the music, production. I produce most of my tracks, so if you guys want to hear about that, I'm more than happy to. I've got a vlog coming out. I'm probably going to drop it today, actually, just because it's me making this song that's about to come out, so you guys will get a bit of an idea behind the production and that sort of shit. So that'll maybe go more into the vlogs, but if you want us to talk about it on the pod, I'm keen for that as well.
Yeah.
But I just want to keep going with this mindset stuff, because you guys have really seemed to take to that well, and it's already got a few people moving with stuff, which is just crazy. Maybe it's not something that they're going to do for the rest of their life, but maybe it is, you know.
And maybe it's that kickstart like we talked about. Yeah,
maybe it's got people moving, and that's fucking crazy, and that's why we started this, is to get that happening. So thank you guys for reaching out and saying that and being vulnerable about that. We really appreciate it. We're hoping to make an impact not only on people's mental health, but people's ambition and motivation and that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you guys. Let's leave it there, man.
Yeah, I think
thanks for coming in again.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a privilege. I love doing it. Love talking.
It's been a pleasure, guys. If you want to like the video. If you want to subscribe. We love you lots. And episode 3, we're going to have a guest. So we're not going to tell you who it is yet. When it comes out, we'll tell you. Peace.